Hello and welcome to Clicks and Classics with Sherlock Holmes The Awakened. We are back in London after we concluded our investigation in New Orleans. We saved Arneson, but he was taking away lots of dead people, ritual murders, Cthulhu statues, and now weird number combination that we can't decipher. We are back in London, as I said, and at the end of last episode, Holmes suggested we should pay the bookseller a visit. So let's do that right now and jump into first person. Now, can we take anything here in the meantime? Before I leave, so I don't have to travel back and forth too much. Don't think so. We also got a letter from Mycroft Holmes, Sherlock's brother, and he killing Tempest. And he told us that some of the stones found in the Swiss Alps were identified as missing from a sunken ship that is supposedly has been on the bottom of the sea in front of India.
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, a real pleasure to see you. I say, where have you been? You've stayed away for some months now.
Indeed, we took a very long journey and barely made it back. However, we have more important matters to discuss. Didn't you say you have some knowledge of ancient people, their language, writings, and customs?
Indeed I did, Mr. Holmes. Why do you ask?
Can we? Yeah, we have the book here.
You are just the man we need. I ran across this esoteric text during our travels and wondered if... Is there something wrong, Barnes?
Mr. Holmes, wherever did you find this? This book, it is worthy of a museum.
If you could be so good as to translate some of these fragments for me, I would be in your debt. I am particularly interested in these pages here. They are in the poorest condition and therefore appear to be the most used.
With pleasure. I will get to work straight away and keep you informed of my progress.
That's good.
Holmes, whatever shall we do while waiting for dear Barnes to finish his translation?
Maybe we look around if we find some interesting books here. Doesn't seem that way though. Maybe we have to leave for now.
My word! This book contains powerful language, like some dark magic. Dreadfully impressive. I will send word as soon as I am done.
Okay, we'll send word, so I guess we can leave and something will happen. So, I guess let's return to Baker Street. Now the boy is back. Maybe he has some information.
Strand! Get the Strand! 3 ships still missing at sea. All aboard feared lost. Get the Strand! Latest word on the missing ships.
Give me the latest edition. There's a good lad.
Thank you, mister.
Storm of the Century, the colossal tempest many are already calling the Storm of the Century, has taken hold of the Scottish and Irish coastlines. It has been raging for these last 2 weeks, and officials are alarmed by signs that the storm is intensifying. Didn't one of the early books that talked about pirates said something about the Scottish coast? Anyway. Witnesses report that the winds are increasing and waves higher than 40 feet have been spotted. The storm is taking a terrible toll in shipping and the lives of seamen. 34 ships have been reported lost and even as this article goes to press, several hundred lives hang in the balance as seamen struggle against the raging elements. Sadly, the Royal Navy Rescue is presently forbidden to launch any search parties due to the dangerous conditions. Until the storm lifts, those lost at sea have only fortune and faith which may carry them home. Their one ray of hope is that the majority of lighthouses remain in operation. The roads leading to them are largely underwater, and their occupants, the guardians of our coast and a sailor's last friend, are manning their posts bravely, though they remain cut off from the world. Her Majesty the Queen held an emergency meeting with her ministers about the crisis along our coast, and it was learned that similar phenomena are occurring around the world. An extraordinary quality of the tempest that is savaging our waters is that it appears to affect the weather around the world, creating similar storms elsewhere. Reports from continental Europe, the Americas, Africa, and Oceania are all speak of the rapidly deteriorating sea conditions. Some scholars speculate that the force and direction of the currents around our coastline is amplifying the effect of those waves in the ambient seas. However, according to these same scholars, a worldwide effect of this magnitude would be the first of its kind. French police sputter. Undoubtedly, the French police are always late. In its unbridled chase of the mysterious burglar A.L., whose exploits we have followed with great regularity, the police have struck a significant obstacle, this being the victim's unrivaled admiration for the canny thief. A rich and well-known eccentric heiress was recently robbed of a fortune in gems. Their value is estimated to be several hundred million francs. The regional authorities had placed her estate under close watch, as they quite rightly regarded it as a prime target for this notorious thief. Last night, a shadowy figure was observed scaling the wall, crossing the grounds, and entering the residence. The policemen closed their trap neatly, with an entire brigade standing by as reinforcements. They charged the manor, throwing the household into a panic, and rushed the heiress's private rooms. She met them in her nightdress and perkily announced that the theft of her jewelry had just occurred. After several minutes, rather long ones, she explained that she showed the burglar an ancient secret passage in her room, through which he escaped and skillfully avoided the police. The passage led to a nearby train station. The shocked civil servants took their leave without saying a word, rejecting the light meal prepared for them by the lady of the house. No doubt it will take more than a few croissants for this lady to persuade the assurance company to pay her the value of the stolen gems.
Watson, consider the news of all these missing ships. I have an idea, but it will be necessary to secure a chart for the Scotland coast and nearby seas. No point in asking Barnes. I have no desire to divert his attention from the translation.
True enough, Holmes. But where else would we find such a chart?
Maybe in the pub.
It's elementary. It is a sea chart we seek. We must go to the harbour.
Nice. Kind of makes sense, right? Do you have a
Good day,
map?
sir.
Good morning to you, gentlemen. Would you care for a pint, or perhaps something finer?
Thank you, but at the moment I have need of information and will have to miss another glass of your fine ale. More's the pity. Would you happen to know where I could find charts of the local waters?
They're all kept at the harbour master's office, but I'm afraid only those with port business are allowed to enter. I trust you understand.
Precisely. What I need is a chart of the Scottish area, where all those ships have wrecked recently.
Indeed, such a sad tale. All those poor souls lost at sea. It seems as if the very devil is at work there. Hang on, a chart of the Scotland coastline, you said? It seems to me I have one in my room over there, behind the bar. Here's the key. Take it and have a look for yourself. If you find it, it's yours for the taking.
Okay. I mean, that's very nice. Finally someone who's nice and willing to help us. Like him. Okay. Do we have...
I have what we need, Watson. Now, let's examine this map.
Okay. Oh, okay. Look at this. I can't zoom out. Let me first
pause to consider the facts, Watson.
Yeah.
No mystery can resist.
Let me first pick this up. Lord Rochester's son embarked for India.
A photograph of Rochester as a young man.
Okay. So what did I do? Okay. Let me quickly write that down again. That code from last time. Okay. So 5643606. I guess those are the coordinates. So I have no idea how to read that. And it's so far zoomed in, it's also kind of hard to tell. So probably where's... I have no clue how to read cards, just so you know. If you ever wondered. Oh, okay. Ah, I see. There's 9, 5. So I guess this was 06, right? 06, 13, 4. Something like this, maybe. And then it was 5, 6. 5, 6, 43. Something here.
Watson,
Ha!
that's what those mysterious figures meant. Longitude and latitude. They indicate a point along the Scottish coast called Ardnamurcombe. Let's bring back the key to the tavern keeper and see if he knows this place.
Did a thing. So I was right with the coordinates. It was just that we first had to decipher them.
Did you find everything to your liking?
Indeed, you are as good as your word. I found the charts just as you said. Does the name Ardnamurcombe mean anything to you?
Ah, yes. It's a lighthouse along that very coastline. Legend has it, the place was built over a pirate's hideaway.
Oh,
In
see,
fact,
there's where
now
the
that I
pirates
think on it,
come
that
in
spot
place.
is right in the middle of the tempest that is taking down all those ships. Rather odd-looking building. They say the chap who built it, Stevenson I believe his name was, that he fancied up the entrance with foreign symbols, Egyptian obelisks and even a dog with wings. Strange fixings for a lighthouse, isn't it?
Rather strange, yeah. Nobody had any thoughts about that. So maybe now we have to return to Barnes? Maybe he has deciphered something. No, to Barnes.
Mr. Holmes, I was able to translate the pages that you wanted. Come, I will show you. This book is quite ancient. It tells of a terrifying sect devoted to strange entities. The descriptions are vague, but we can presume the origin of this myth arises from the destructive Leviathan represented in the Bible, a creature said to sleep and dream in a strange city under the sea.
A nightmare sleeping within the sea.
To be exact, the pages you asked me to translate are in fact a prayer or invocation to this entity and the description of the ceremony associated with it. To be frank, what is described in this book would make one laugh. were it not for its reliance on such horribly obscene, morbid, and bloodthirsty language.
And this ceremony, what can you tell me about it?
Promise me you will not laugh. The book says that hundreds or thousands of years ago, during a particular alignment of the stars, a priest performed these rites, invoking the name of a destructive Leviathan. The priest intoned his name and called for his return to this earth so his followers could give him his due. The priest then asked a representative of each nation on the earth to recite the invocation and sacrifice themselves to the sea from atop a colossal natural rock tower surrounded by water. All this is quite absurd, isn't it?
Like a lighthouse.
Pray continue, Barnes.
As you like. It goes on to say that the ceremony must be held under the image of the messenger of the outside gods. Nothing more exact is said on these entities. However, from their description, their messenger would have a form rather close to the Egyptian Sphinx, except that his face is without feature and jet black in colour. So an idol in its likeness must be present during the ceremony. But can you imagine that? Some so-called priest and an international crowd atop a tower singing in unison before some faceless winged stone lion?
I can imagine it very well, Barnes. You say that these people are to throw themselves into the sea so that their god will have his due. But what is it about? What does this god seek?
That's the most preposterous part of this tale, and proves it to be pure myth and fancy. Even for the sake of argument, this ceremony could never have happened. In such ancient times, it would have been quite impossible to gather representatives from every nation on Earth and in one place.
I understand, Barnes. Humour me a bit more and please answer my last question. What would this Leviathan want from us?
Indeed, we would owe this creature our world. According to this, complete the ceremony and the collective sacrifice, invoke the demon, and he will arise and swallow the earth. Yes, Holmes, they sought nothing less than the end of the world. What nonsense!
Thank you, Barnes. I must leave now.
Goodbye.
The newspaper dating before our departure. Watson, find it. There was some article about the current alignment of the stars. This may tell us precisely how much time we have left.
But Holmes, surely you can't believe...
The newspaper, Watson. Find that newspaper. Look, Watson! The light is barely lit! This explains the shipwrecks and recent disappearances!
Holmes, if we do not find a place to land, and soon, I fear they will add our names to those poor souls lost in these seas.
Look at that!
Oh my God! Holmes! Look! The sea! It just swallowed him!
Lambs for the slaughter! Watson, we must stop this!
We sure do, but that we will do next time. And that will be the grand finale of Clicks and Classics, the first game in the Clicks and Classics series, Sherlock Holmes, The Awakened. Thank you all for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and share this video. Very much appreciated. Always helps me out a lot and will bring you more content in the future. I will be back with the finale of Clicks and Classics, Sherlock Holmes, The Awakened tomorrow. Until then, have a great time.